There's an hour of the day that almost all of us we just ignore it. It's quiet, no notifications, no emails piling up, no chaos. Just silence. So what if I told you that in that one single quiet hour lies the secret to a more powerful, more productive, and honestly, a more deeply fulfilling life? Well, today we're diving straight into that very idea from Robin Sharma's global bestseller, The 5 a.m. Club.
Just think about your morning for a second. Does that question kind of hit home? For so many of us, the second we wake up, we're already playing catch-up. We're reacting to a world that's been making demands on us for hours. We grab our phones, that blue light hits our eyes, and boom, the race begins. But it really doesn't have to be that way.
We live in this age of total digital overwhelm, right? The endless scroll, the constant pings, this pressure to be always available. Our attention, our focus, has become the most valuable thing on the planet, and it's being shattered into 1,000 tiny pieces before we've even had our first cup of coffee. This state of distraction has just become our normal.
And this, right here, is the core idea of the 5 a.m. Club. The book argues that by intentionally taking back that solitude of the early morning, you reclaim your focus, your energy, and your power. That hour isn't just empty time. It's a strategic weapon. And it's a secret that some of the greatest artists, industry titans, and wisest people in history have been using for centuries.
Okay, so let's get into the philosophy here. To really get the 5 a.m. Club, you have to see it as more than just a routine. It's a whole new way of looking at the world. And it's all presented through a powerful story of transformation. So, the book teaches these incredible lessons through a narrative. We follow a struggling artist and a burnt-out entrepreneur who've both hit rock bottom. And their lives totally change when they run into this eccentric, globe-trotting billionaire who becomes their mentor. Using a story is just brilliant because it makes these big ideas feel so personal. It shows you that these principles aren't for superhumans. They're for anyone who's looking for a real, profound change. And the central message? It's simple, but it's powerful. Your first hour literally sets the course for the next 23. So, what is this secret weapon these characters learn about? Well, it's a concept that Sharma calls the victory hour. And believe me, it is the cornerstone that everything else is built on. The victory hour is that golden window between 5 and 6 a.m. So why that specific time? Well, because at 5 a.m., the world is still asleep. The digital noise is off. Your willpower, which is a resource that runs out during the day, is at its absolute peak. And you've got a clean psychological slate. This isn't about losing sleep. It's about gaining a strategic, undeniable edge by taking back a period of time that is 100% yours before you give your energy away to anyone else. The impact of this is kind of like compound interest for your life. Seriously. Winning that first hour creates this cascade of positive effects. It gives you a psychological and physiological momentum that carries you through your day with so much more focus and energy. And that leads to better choices, higher quality work, more patient conversations. A single hour, when you practice it with consistency, can truly, genuinely redefine your entire life's path. Okay, so this all sounds great, but what do you actually do during this victory hour? Because just waking up isn't really the point. Sharma gives us a super clear, actionable framework to make this hour the most valuable one of your day. It's called the 20-20-20 formula. The hour is broken down into 3 20-minute pockets, and each one has a very specific job. You start with your body, then you move to your mindset, and you finish by expanding your knowledge. This structure makes sure you're not just, stumbling around in the dark, but you're intentionally priming your mind, your body, and your spirit for peak performance. Let's break each one down. The first 20 minutes, from 5 to 5:20, are all about intense movement. And by intense, I mean exercise that makes you sweat, get that heart rate up. The science here is just crucial. Intense exercise floods your brain with dopamine, that's your motivation molecule, and serotonin for happiness. And at the exact same time, it lowers your levels of cortisol, the stress hormone. You are literally swapping anxiety for focus and clearing out the mental fog before it even has a chance to set in. Next up, from 5:20 to 5:40, after your body is all fired up, you reflect. This is your moment of stillness in a world that never stops moving. You could journal, you could meditate, you could just plan your day with real intention.
The goal here isn't to be productive, it's to be present. And then finally, in the last 20 minutes, from 5:40 to 6 o'clock, you grow. This is where you feed your mind, read a book, study a new skill, listen to a great talk. You're investing in yourself. So think about it. In 1 hour, you've primed your body, you've centered your soul, and you've sharpened your mind, all before most people have even hit the snooze button. Now, I know what a lot of you are probably thinking right now. Waking up at 5 a.m. sounds absolutely awful. There's no way I could do that. And you know what? The book doesn't sugarcoat it. In fact, it tackles that difficulty head-on with a really structured model for making any new habit stick, the 66-day journey. So forget that popular myth that it takes 21 days to form a habit. According to the research Sharma lays out, it takes, on average, 66 days for a new behavior to go from being a conscious struggle to being an automatic process, to wire it so deep in your brain that it actually feels easier to do it than not to. And just knowing this is so important for setting the right expectations. This 66-day journey is broken into 3 very distinct stages. The first 22 days, that's the destruction phase. You are literally tearing down old habits and brain patterns. It's supposed to feel awful, uncomfortable, and your brain is going to fight you every step of the way. Then, days 23 to 44 are the installation phase. This is the messy middle. It's confusing. Some days you'll feel great, other days you'll feel like you're going backwards. You're building the new habit, but it's not stable yet. And finally, days 45 to 66, that's integration. This is where the magic happens. The habit becomes part of who you are. The tragedy is, most people quit in stage 1, never realizing just how close they were to that breakthrough. This quote just perfectly captures that whole emotional journey. It makes the struggle normal. The difficulty you feel isn't a sign that you're failing. It's a sign that you are growing. The messiness is just part of the process of rewiring your own brain. And that beauty at the end, that feeling of control, of automaticity, that's the prize for pushing through. Okay, now we need to take this a step further. The 5 a.m. club is not just a productivity hack. If you think it's only about getting more stuff done, you're really missing the deepest point. The true purpose of all this is to achieve a holistic mastery over your inner world, what Sharma calls your 4 interior empires. True. World-class performance and genuine happiness don't just come from optimizing your calendar. They come from strengthening your entire being. I mean, anyone can follow a tactic for a week, but real, lasting change comes from building up the very core of who you are.
So, these are your mindset, which is your psychology, your heart set, your emotional health, your health set, your physical fitness, and your soul set, your inner peace. Sharma's whole argument is that our society is obsessed with mindset, but we completely neglect the other 3. True greatness requires you to develop all 4. Now think back to the 20-20-20 formula. See how it's designed to nourish every single one of these? Move strengthens your health set, reflect nurtures your heart set and your soul set, and grow expands your mindset. It's a daily calibration of your entire inner world. So, as we start to bring this all together, the 5 a.m. Club isn't just a book or a routine. It really emerges as a choice. It's a statement. It's a movement against just drifting through modern life. So what's the big message here? First, that small, daily improvements are way more powerful than big occasional efforts. Consistency always beats short-term intensity. Second, the discipline isn't a punishment. It's a gift you give to your future self. It's the very structure of freedom. And finally, that this whole practice is a quiet rebellion, a rebellion against distraction, against mediocrity, and against letting the world decide how you live your life. And you would not be doing this alone. What started as a book has really become this global community. There are people all over the world waking up at 5 a.m., sharing their wins, and proving that this simple shift can have an incredible impact. There's this shared understanding that this first hour is sacred ground. It's a space you protect for your own growth. And in the end, it all comes down to a choice. The alarm goes off. It's dark. The bed is warm. The world is quiet. This hour belongs to no one else but you. It's an invitation to own your morning, and by doing that, to elevate your life. The only question left is, how will you answer?